Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something a little bit different, but unfortunately pretty relevant these days.
Definitely.
It's job insecurity.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at this fictional scenario about this factory worker named Jamal who's facing some possible layoffs.
Oh, interesting.
And, I think the idea here is not just to kind of understand Jamal's anxieties, but also help all of us.
Right.
If we ever find ourselves in a similar situation, give ourselves some tools to deal with it.
For sure. I mean, I think Jamal's story, even though it's fictional, it really speaks to a lot of the fears that people are facing.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly in kind of like blue collar jobs, like manufacturing.
Absolutely. So the story starts out, Jamal gets this announcement about the potential layoffs. And I can just feel like the ground is shifting under his feet.
Oh, absolutely.
And you immediately start thinking about, okay, well, how am I gonna pay my bills?
Right.
What about my family?
Yeah, your family's depending on you.
Yeah, and it's just this huge weight comes down, and it's just so well written because it just really captures that feeling.
Well, and it's not just the financial part of it, right?
Yeah,
it's like this kind of emotional and psychological toll that it takes. You start feeling super stressed, your anxiety's through the roof.
Definitely.
And, it really hits your self-esteem too.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And so I'm glad that the story doesn't leave us just like hanging in this sort of pit of despair.
Exactly.
There's this what to do next section.
Yeah.
It's almost like a little toolkit.
Yeah, like a survival guide or something.
Exactly. And the first thing it mentions is explore new opportunities. And it sounds really obvious.
It does.
But I think that's where people kind of freeze up.
Absolutely.
Because it's just like, oh my God, this huge mountain I have to climb.
Well, it can be so overwhelming,
Totally. And the story mentions, updating your resume, which, yes, definitely do that.
Yeah.
But I think the key here is to really start thinking about, okay, what are your skills?
Right.
Not just your job title.
Not just your job title. Exactly.
But what are you bringing to the table?
Right. And so for Jamal, for example,
I
mean, he's working in a factory. He probably has some pretty impressive problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
Think about the machinery he's operating,
Yes,
the deadlines he's meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, that translates to project management, logistics.
Yeah.
I mean, those are really valuable skills.
Absolutely. And that's where I think the next point in the toolkit comes in, which is enhanced skills.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, online courses.
Right.
Maybe some short certifications.
Exactly.
I mean, you can learn new things in weeks, not years these days.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many great resources available.
Yeah.
Like Coursera, Udacity.
Yeah.
Tons of affordable options.
Totally. And imagine Jamal, he takes his factory know-how, gets a certification in, let's say, logistics.
Right.
Suddenly he's a prime candidate for a whole new industry.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's really empowering.
Yeah, it is.
To think about that. And then the last point that the story hits on is communicate with management.
Yeah.
And I know that can be so scary.
It is.
But it's better than just sitting there chewing your fingernails and just waiting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sitting around worrying is never going to help anything.
Yeah.
And it's really about asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Jamal shouldn't be afraid to go to his supervisors and be like, hey, what are the company's plans?
It's
What are the criteria for these layoffs?
Yeah.
Are there any retraining opportunities within the company?
Yes, exactly. You never know. I mean,
right.
What might be available.
Right.
So, I mean, just to kind of recap, if you're starting to feel that job insecurity kind of creep in, explore those hidden skills. Enhance the skills that you have.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to talk to the people in charge.
You got it.
Yeah. And as you kind of process all this, I'm going to leave you with a little something to think about.
Okay.
Jamal's story is just one story.
Right.
What if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture?
Yeah.
What role could maybe government policies or even big companies play in creating more job stability for everyone?
Absolutely.
It's a big question, but it's definitely something worth thinking about.
Yeah, it is.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and until next time, keep exploring.
See ya.